After what's felt like a year plus of this rumor happening and talking about this fight being a reality, well, it's been confirmed by the man himself. Manny Pacquiao is stepping back into the ring at 46 years old to take on, no, not just any other opponent, just to fight. No, a belt holder at 147 in Mario Barrios. Manny Pacquiao will be fighting for the WBC belt come July 19th. Pac Man, of course, 46 years old, hasn't fought a professional fight since 2021. That was a unanimous decision loss against Yordenis Ugas. If you remember, that fight was originally going to be against Earl Spence Jr. until Spence had to have eye surgery. Ugas stepped in, beat Pacquiao. Pacquiao put the gloves up after that one, but he's taking him right back down for this fight. But I don't know. I think this could be very, very dangerous for all parties involved. First, this is Never Drop Podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you're excited to see Manny Pacquiao back in the ring. Pac Man, I mean, a legend. That's all you can say about him. He's a absolute legend. 62, 8-2 with 39 knockouts. Manny Pacquiao is one of the greats of the sport. So to see one of the greats in the sport back is awesome. That's the immediate reaction, like, yes, Manny Pacquiao's back. And then you can start to think about everything. Okay, he's 46. He hasn't fought in 4 years. He fought an exhibition last year and didn't necessarily look all that good. See, my thing is, if you watch my videos, you know I just love seeing stars back in the ring. Whether it's a Tank Davis, a Canelo Alvarez, yeah, I might not like to see the competition they're fighting, but I like to see stars in the ring. That's no different here. I love to see Manny Pacquiao in the ring. But I wish it was under the pretenses of what his other counterparts that have grown older are doing, aka exhibition matches. Because you have to think about it from this aspect. And this is why I think this could be a dangerous fight for Manny Pacquiao in a scary moment. Obviously, the age, 46, does he still have the same speed, the same footwork? Obviously, that's going to be there to a degree, but it's had to fallen off somewhat in his time off. You know, he's not training every single day. Of course, he's going to be having a training camp. I'm sure he's been training for a while because, again, this fight's been rumored for a long time. And then Barrios fought, I believe, on the Tyson-Paul undercard against another guy. And you're like, oh, maybe that Pacquiao fight just never came to fruition. Now we're here. But Pacquiao, you have to think about this. It could get scary for him because this one isn't an exhibition for Mario Barrios. For Barrios, he's fighting for his world title. If Barrios loses his belt at 147, what is he? Barrios, who again is a very good fighter, he's a good fighter, but he's shown in the past there are flaws in his game. If he loses his belt, he loses a lot of opportunities in his career. I mean, I believe on that Mike Tyson-Jake Paul undercard, he was dropped a couple times, at least once, maybe a couple times if I'm remembering correctly, in that fight against an opponent that everyone kind of expected him to just go through. It was a closely contested fight. It was like, oh, maybe Barrios isn't as great as we thought at 47. And at 47, you got names like Boots Ennis, Brian Norman Jr. there in the division that we want to see unify. Of course, it's not up to Barrios to make these guys fight. I believe Norman has a fight coming up, and Boots is in negotiations with Teofimo Lopez, Eddie Hearn said just last week. So, you know, if these other guys don't want to unify, you can't always blame Barrios. But Barrios has had a belt for a while, and this is the best you can do. I understand money-wise, it will be out of here. But for Pacquiao, Barrios can't lose this fight. You have to understand that. Barrios cannot lose this fight. So he's not going to go into it with any reservations, thinking about how old Manny Pacquiao is, anything like that. Because you think about that. What I'm comparing this to, and it's not a fair comparison, but the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. You have to think about that fight and the circumstances around it. Obviously, an older Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, who's not really a boxer, who's turned into a boxer, excuse me. But when you think about that fight, Jake Paul said he went easy on Mike Tyson. Okay, and to a degree, I give him some credit for doing that because Mike is, what, 60 plus? But for Barrios, there's no reason to go easy on Manny Pacquiao. One, it's Manny Pacquiao, who's 46, not 60 something. So you don't know, hey, maybe he can still catch you with a shot. In his second to last fight against Keith Thurman, back, oh, geez, was that 2019, I believe? He beat a Keith Thurman that was kind of on top of the world at welterweight. He dropped him in the first round. So you got to think, hey, can Manny Pacquiao still maybe get it done? I know people were thinking the same thing with Mike Tyson, but Jake Paul admitted, hey, I went easy on him. I could tell for Barrios, he can't go easy on him. If he loses that belt at 47, what does Mario Barrios have? He's had to restart his career before after a loss, the Tank Davis loss, and he's built up to be a champion at 47. He can't afford a loss, even if it's to a legend like Manny Pacquiao. He loses everything at the negotiation table for 4 years in his career, for the next 4 years in his career. And we know Barrios probably doesn't have too much longer. He's been in the game for a while. He's got big, maybe unifications coming, and then you see what happens there. For him, losing to Manny Pacquiao just cannot be an option, so he can't take his foot off the gas pedal. For Pacquiao, good for him. I mean, if he wants to get back in the ring this bad and fight an opponent like Mario Barrios, who I've talked about, he's had some rough performances, but he's a really good fighter. Barrios is a very skilled fighter. Props to him if he really believes he still has it. Props to Manny Pacquiao. I'm excited to see. But I don't understand how immediately he's coming out and he's fighting for a belt. I know it's the WBC and everything. I don't think that's right. I think a lot of people are going to say, how can he just skip the line? I know he's a legend and everything, but still, there are worthy mandatories opponents that should be fighting. Again, I want to see unifications at 47. Instead, we get this. You have to think about this. Manny Pacquiao is set to be inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame in 2 weeks. I don't know if he's still going to be there, what that does. He's set to be inducted to the Boxing Hall of Fame in 2 weeks. I was just there. He was on all the posters. What's that do? Like that's how long he's been out of the game. He was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then a month later after the induction, he's going and fighting. It's really a fight that I'm not the biggest fan of. I think I've kind of made that clear, but I'm going to watch. I'm going to be interested. I also believe this is going to be kind of a stacked card from kind of what the rumblings are. I think Sebastian Vendora versus Tim Tszyu, number 2, is going to be the co-main. I also believe they're saying Pitbull is going to be on the undercard against, I'm forgetting the name of the opponent he had a firefight with last year. They're going to do a rematch for that too. So I think the card's going to be good. It's just, it's going to be dangerous. Again, for Pacquiao, how much does he still have? Can he go a full 12 rounds? Because Barrios is going to be ready. Barrios knows he cannot lose to Manny Pacquiao. He can't take his foot off the gas pedal. He's going to show him respect and everything. But when it comes time to stop him, if there is that time, of course, I don't think Barrios is going to hesitate to, because he knows the other dude's trying to stop me as well. And if I lose this belt, I lose a lot of power in my career. So this is interesting. I think, I don't know what to think about it. Of course, I'm happy to see Pacquiao back in the ring. I still think there's greater fights at 47 for Barrios, but you can't make all these other fighters fight. I didn't believe this rumor. It's been going on forever. I didn't believe it would happen. Obviously, it's been delayed so much. But we're here. July, Manny Pacquiao returns to fight Mario Barrios for the WBC World Championship. It's crazy. It is crazy. This has been rumored for a while. This date has been talked about for a while, the last month or so. Now it's official. Pacquiao announced it. It's happening. Leave a comment below. Who do you think is going to win? And if you're excited for this fight or a little scared like I am, let me know in the comments below. This has been the Never Drop Podcast. I got all your information, boxing news. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Never Drop Podcast. That's all I got for you. Peace. I'm out.